We are going to start with the discharge lamps. Actually, there are different kinds of discharge lamps. Okay, we are going to see two important types, that is sodium vapor lamp and mercury vapor lamp. Okay, but before we go into this topic of discharge lamps, let me tell you that this topic, okay, and the next coming topics, all these come under different sources of light. Okay, so sources of light, okay, that is electrical energy utilization for deliverance of illuminance. Okay, you have got different types of sources. Okay, so discharge lamps, incandescent lamps, okay, fluorescent tubes, all these are some examples. So we will be seeing very important things that is related to your syllabus. Okay, so once we finish these sources of light, simultaneously we will be finishing also the types of discharge lamps. Also we will be seeing incandescent lamps and tungsten lamp. Okay, and unit 4 when we start, okay, possibly next week we will be seeing a comparison between tungsten and fluorescent tubes, tungsten lamp and fluorescent tube. So that is a continuation of these sources of light only in unit 4. So let's start with the discharge lamps now. So discharge lamps, they have been developed primarily to overcome the drawbacks of incandescent lamp. So we'll be seeing incandescent lamp what it is on a later stage. But according to your syllabus, this comes first. So we'll be understanding what a discharge lamp is. Then we'll be moving on to incandescent lamp. So now, normally at high pressures and atmospheric conditions, all gases are poor conductors of electricity. But on application of sufficient voltage across the electrodes, these ionized gases, they produce electromagnetic radiation. In this process of producing the light by gaseous conduction, most commonly used elements, they are neon, sodium and mercury. So the wavelength of electromagnetic radiation, it depends upon the nature of the gas and the gaseous pressure used inside that particular lamp. So whenever you are using a gaseous discharge, okay, that is you are using gas in a closed surface, okay, between a set of electrodes. Okay, the electrodes ionize the gas. Okay, so they produce the ionizations, they produce electromagnetic radiation. This is observed in the form of light. So the wavelength of electromagnetic radiation, it depends upon the nature of the gas and the gaseous pressure that we are using inside the lamp. So here is a simple illustration of a gas discharge lamp. So in all discharge lamps, electric current is made through pass through gas or vapor. Okay, gas may be in its original state or it may be pressurized or it may be in the form of vapor. So this depends upon the conditions, okay, that is necessary for illumination purpose. And here you are observing a closed container, a glass container in which you are having, you are housing electrode set, one positive and another negative. You are having a gas medium. This can be any gas, nitrogen, hydrogen, neon, etc. Maybe inert gas or a regular gas. So this gas, when it gets ionized, it releases electromagnetic radiation. And the supply you are using here is AC supply. You can also use DC supply, but DC supply, it requires additional equipment of conversion from AC to DC. Now, production of light in the gaseous discharge lamps, it is based on the phenomenon of excitation and ionization of gas or the metal vapor present between the two electrodes. So this happens in the discharge tube. When the potential between the two electrodes, it is equal to the ionization potential of the gas or the metal. So the metal vapor or the gas, it starts to ionize and we establish an arc between the two electrodes. So accordingly, the volt ampere characteristics of the arc is also observed to be negative. So what happens? Gaseous discharge lamp, it possesses negative resistance characteristics. Yes. So This is resulting in your light emission or radiation. You are calling it irradiance. So for here we are for housing this operation, that is to limit, okay, the high currents. We are using a ballast or we are using a choke, okay, to limit the high currents, that is liberating between the set of electrodes in the form of a discharge to a safe value. So what does this ballast or choke serves? What is the purpose of this ballast or choke? It provides two operations. First one, it provides ignition voltage at the start. Whenever you observe, okay, a discharge lamp, initially it flickers. Okay, so during the time it is providing the ignition voltage. And next, it limits high currents. So these are the two functions of the choke. The use of choke will reduce the power factor 0.3 to 0.4 from your operating power factor 0.9 usually of all gaseous lamps. So this is a drawback. To overcome this, we are using a condenser. What is a condenser? Condenser is nothing but a small capacitor, okay, which is a reactive power compensation scheme to improve the power factor, okay, that is got down with the drawing of high currents from the electrodes and the gaseous medium in the start. So the nature of the gas or the gaseous vapor used in the lamp, it is going to affect the color of light. So you have different colors of light, okay, using different types of gases you use. Okay, so we experiment, we fix for what light we want, a bright white, we want a shady yellow, we want a greenish light. So all these different lights, they can be, obtained from different types of gases and their vapor we can use. It may be metallic gas also. So depending upon the discharge, okay, there are two types, that is the gaseous medium discharge. There are two types basically of lamps. The lamps that emit light of the color produced by the discharge taking place through the gas, okay, that is neon gas, sodium vapor gas, mercury vapor gas, etc. Or the lamp that emits light of color depends on the type of phosphor material coated inside the walls of the discharge tube. So initially discharge take place through the vapor, produces ultraviolet radiation, then the visible UV rays absorbed by the phosphorus, okay, and it radiates light energy that is following the visible region. So this UV light causes fluorescence in certain phosphor materials. Such lamps are known as fluorescent lamps. Okay, example is a fluorescent mercury vapor tube. And the discharge lamp, we have got two types: neon vapor discharge lamp, sodium vapor discharge lamp, mercury vapor discharge lamp. For us, we are going to restrict ourselves to sodium vapor lamp and a mercury vapor lamp. But before we see these particular lamps, let's see the drawbacks of this particular gaseous discharge lamps, okay, in comparison to tungsten filament lamps. Okay, we have not seen tungsten filament lamps, but whatever drawbacks you are observing, understand that these drawbacks are fulfilled in tungsten filament lamps. So what are the drawbacks? So the discharge lamps, it suffers from starting of the discharge lamp. It requires starters. Okay, so starters, transformers, so that makes the circuit complex. So this complex circuitry involves in good initial cost. Okay, also drawing of high currents in the starting results in poor power factor. So the lamps make use of capacitor only. Okay, to again compensate for this power factor. So capacitor is a costly device, again a condenser. So you are getting additional initial installation cost again. Next, the time required to give its full output brilliancy is more. Usually it takes minimum of 10 minutes. Okay, దాని ఫుల్ అవుట్పుట్ చూపించడానికి గ్యాస్ మొత్తం అయోనైజ్ అయ్యి మీకు ఇరేడియన్స్ రావడానికి 10 minutes టైం పడుతుంది. సో దీస్ ల్యాంప్స్ మస్ట్ బి ప్లేస్డ్ ఇన్ పర్టికులర్ పొజిషన్. వీ కెనాట్ చేంజ్ ది డైరెక్షన్ ఆర్ యాంగులర్ పొజిషన్ ఆఫ్ ది ల్యాంప్స్. And also the lamps require stabilizing choke to limit high starting currents, since lamps have what negative resistance characteristics. Next, let's start our discharge lamps. First one we are going to see in the syllabus is sodium vapor lamp. So a sodium vapor lamp is a cold cathode low pressure vapor lamp. Okay, so here we are using sodium vapor, okay, for the discharge, and it consists of U-shaped tube enclosed in double walled vacuum flask to keep the temperature of the tube within the working region. The inner U-tube consists of two oxide coated electrodes which are sealed with the ends. These electrodes are connected to pin type base construction. We are going to see the structure now. You are observing two tubes. Okay, this is the structure of sodium vapor lamp. Okay, you have got an AC supply, you have got a power factor correction capacitor, you have got a choke or a ballast. Next you are having a leakage transformer. Next, that is given to your discharge tube, a double walled tube. So this discharge tube, you have got two sets. One is a U tube in which you are having the electrode set. The two electrodes you are observing there with the resistors connected, they are your electrodes. They are metal oxide coated electrodes, that is the inner tube, and there is a double walled vacuum tube again, okay, which is an outer tube. So this is the construction, total construction of your sodium vapor discharge lamp. Observe the diagram. ఉంది వాళ్ళ రబ్బాలుగా వెళ్దాం లేదండి నేను వస్తారు. Okay, if you have got any doubts in the figure, you can ask. It's a very simple structure. So the sodium vapor lamp is a low luminosity lamp. The length of the lamp should be more for the reason. In order to get the desired length, it is made in the form of U-shaped tube. The long U-tube consists of small amount of neon gas and metallic sodium. At this time of the start, the neon gas vaporizes and it develops sufficient heat to vaporize metallic sodium in the U-shaped tube. So what happens? Initially, sodium is in the form of solid deposited on the walls of the inner tube. When sufficient voltage is impressed across the electrode, discharge starts in the inert gas. So what happens? Discharge starts in neon. So what happens? It operates as a low pressure neon lamp with a pink color. So the temperature of lamp increases gradually and metallic sodium it vaporizes, then it ionizes, and then it produces some monochromatic yellow light. So all this process to happen, it is taking about 10 to 15 minutes to give its full luminescence. Okay, so this is the operating procedure of your sodium vapor lamp. So a yellowish output of the lamp makes the object appears gray. In order to start the lamp, we need at least 300 to 450 volts of striking voltage. So this is necessary for either a 40-watt lamp or either a 100-watt lamp. So these voltages can be obtained from a high reactance transformer or an auto transformer. So the operating power factor of the lamp is poor, so that a capacitor is placed to improve the power factor to above 0.8. More care should be taken while replacing the inner tube. If it is broken, then what happens? Sodium comes in contact with the moisture. So this will result in a blast. So the lamp must be operated horizontally or nearly so to spread the sodium equally or in a leveled way along the tube. We cannot hold it upright or we cannot hold it vertically. So it should be operated in a horizontal position only. So the efficiency of sodium vapor lamp is, 40 to 50 lumens per watt. So these particular lamps, they are manufactured in this wattage ratings: 45 watts rating, 60 watt rating, 85 watt rating, 140 watt ratings, etc. So the normal operating temperatures of the lamps is 300 degrees centigrade, and the average lamp life, sodium vapor lamp life, it is 3000 hours, and they are not affected by voltage variations. Enduku voltage variations that affect how we are having a transformer, lead transformer, and we are having a ballast. You are observed this in the structure. Lead transformer, we having a ballast or choke. Okay, so this is seldom, responded to voltage variations. So these are some reasons for the failure of this particular operate lamp, for the failure of this particular lamp to operate. Okay, ఈ కేసెస్లో ల్యాంప్ వర్క్ అవటం ఆగిపోతుంది, లేకపోతే ల్యాంప్ ఫెయిల్ అయిపోతుంది, అది పని చేయదు. When first one, cathode fails to emit electrons. The cathode is not properly coated. If it is not properly excited, it will not emit electrons. In that case, it fails, the lamp fails. Next, when the filament breaks or burns out and all particles of sodium are concentrated on one side of the inner tube. అదే చెప్పాను, హారిజాంటల్గా పెడితే మీకు సోడియం వేపర్ అనేది ఈవెన్గా డిస్ట్రిబ్యూట్ అవుతుంది. పార్టికల్స్ ఆఫ్ ది సోడియం, దే ఆర్ నాట్ కాన్సన్ట్రేటెడ్, అండ్ యువర్ ల్యాంప్ లైఫ్ ఈస్ గుడ్. You are getting a lamp output properly, otherwise it will fail. And the life of the lamp increases due to aging. So average light output of the lamp is reduced by 15% on an average due to aging. So years go by, the lamp efficiency reduces. So these are all the causes. Okay, these are some advantages, and we are going to see some more advantages in mercury vapor lamp. Again, high pressure, low pressure, రెండు రకాలు ఉంటాయి mercury vapor lamps. అలాగే incandescent lamp, tungsten filament lamp, all these particular lamps, they have resulted in different types of failures over years. Okay, so all these have led to modern day lighting, that is LED lighting. So these lamps are they were mainly used, they are not used now. So these lamps were mainly used in earlier days for highway lighting, street lighting, parks, railway yards, general outdoor lighting, etc. Nowadays, all these particular lamps, they are no longer used. We have all replaced these particular lamps with LEDs anyway. So this is about your sodium vapor